The Dusty Futon podcast is a product of the Dusty Futon LLC and Dusty Futon Productions. Go to dustyfuton.com for more information. It's that time again. Welcome to another episode of the Dusty Futon, the highly acclaimed musicians podcast. Acclaimed by me, myself, and I, Tyler, Spicy Kim, Lindsay, Dirty Disciple. Also, every band that's ever been on, because all we want to do is give local, independent music their voice and their time to shine. Oh yeah, and we play their songs too. And this episode is brought to you by Backstage360.com, the musicians' media. The Dusty Futon is a musicians podcast bringing you the raw musician and what they bring to the table. Backstage360.com works hard to bring you even more with creative write-ups, professional interviews, and stunning photography. Backstage360.com also assists with the promotion of events, products, tours, new music, and they provide an overall insider's peek into the impedimenta of the backstage. Backstage360.com. They truly are the musicians' media. This episode, we talked to a guy who's an expatriate of London who decided to come to San Diego on a whim with his guitar, a backpack, and $2,000. We're talking about Taz Taylor and the Taz Taylor Band. You listen to him, you listen to his British accent, you wouldn't think that he's as heavy as he is, but this guy plays some heavy-hitting, fast-moving guitar licks, and, you know, enough about that. Let's jump right into the episode, and you can hear it for yourself.
Did interviews on the radio on our UK tour. Every single time, like, I'd start, because like you said, they start with me, because the band's named after me.
Right.
And we'd do it, and then he would go next, and I'd go, huh, why don't I sound like that?
You're all mesmerized by it.
Yeah,
I do the drink commercials.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't I sound like that?
But you have the accent, Taz.
Not to me.
Yeah, we all have the accent, Kim. You get that way wrong. Even I knew that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't hear it.
You didn't. I want to talk like that. I want that light off and that light off.
You know what we sound like to people in Britain? Well, come on down over here to the 7-Eleven. Got the cheese whiz here for my, hot dog buns. And
Cheese whiz.
That's how we
like
sound.
Cheese in a can.
Yeah, well, no,
That's how he talks in Europe.
That's how we sound.
That's what
to
they
them.
hear. Yeah.
I don't
Actually, when he's
know.
over there, his accent gets worse.
Does it?
It gets
What?
significantly more pronounced. I guess that's probably what I'm
Have you been over recently?
We were there in 2014, right?
Yeah.
Playing?
Yeah.
It's almost not even English anymore. Like, they take on a completely different vernacular, don't they? Like, words don't even mean the same things
Well,
anymore.
bangers and mash. They go to the loo. Don't you nip? Don't you nip off to the loo? Isn't that a thing?
No.
Oh, damn it!
Nip.
Did you say nip off to the loo?
You
Like
nip
that was
off
a
to the
racist
loo.
comment. Come
No,
on.
it's like you have to use the.
Look, you've offended Taz now.
I know.
I don't know what you
that
said.
was quick.
but
That was quick too.
He's like,
had
I'm
to
done.
say-
This is over. Yeah.
That didn't take long.
I'm
Whatever,
gonna
Spicy.
put my mic down and let you guys run it because
See what I mean? Kim, Americans we
Sorry,
ruin everything.
you know what? God bless America.
These days, right now.
We have Lindsay over here.
What's up, guys?
Did we start yet, or?
Oh, we're just. I don't know.
We're kind
Are
of
you?
doing like
Are
a
we?
pre-roll.
Are we? What
A
are
lot
we
of-
doing?
a lot of that
Go
stuff
and
is-
see
is-
where we
'Cause
like
I was
to
Is it
go.
recorded?
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, like,
Good.
everything's going. He's going to say, okay, we're live. And everyone's just going to shut up. You're like,
I know. That's why we're not going to do that. We're just not.
And we're live.
Oh,
Well, let's go over here to Lindsay's corner. She seems like she wants to chime
Lindsay.
in.
What's up? Hey, Taz.
hey, Lindsay.
How you doing?
Excellent. And
I
you?
love your accent.
Thank you
he
so
does
much.
not have an accent.
I don't
Lindsay?
have an accent.
It's the girls just go crazy over
It's
it.
crazy.
every time.
It is true. You give me a guy with an accent and tattoos.
Done.
Fuck
She's
the
done.
world.
Oh, my
That is
God.
a musician. You're done.
Fuck the world, amongst other
Okay,
things.
your mic's getting muted now.
I'm just going to shut up.
He's like, tell me more. Yes.
My wife cannot listen to this episode.
This episode of the Dusty Futon is rated X.
X.
Our favorite letter.
So, in case you haven't noticed, we've got Taz Taylor in the house with us. Welcome, Taz Taylor. Insert audio on the screen.
And Val Trainer.
And Val Trainer,
Val.
he's in. Val Trainer.
Taz Taylor Band drummer.
Those are the best names.
I know. Taz and Val, right?
No kidding.
Badass.
The
Right
last
there.
guys we had in here sounded like a boy band.
Oh, they were like
when
Adam and
A
Tommy.
white boy
Thomas.
band.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Thomas, sorry.
Cooper and things like that, you know. It's
Dylan.
like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
All those names, yes.
I think that was the bass player's name, wasn't it?
He was Adam.
Andy.
And we don't have
whatever.
our bass player couldn't be here today
that's a
because he's
bummer.
out of town. His name is Barney.
Barney the bass player.
And
That's
that
a
is-
bass player name.
And that is not actually short for
That is
anything.
awesome.
It's just
That
Barney?
is actually his actual
That's the
full
whole
You
name.
don't meet too many actual Barneys now.
Yeah, it's not
you know?
short for Barnabas. or
Barney,
anything like
especially
that.
in
It's the
California,
actual-
has kind of become an insult. You know, people call you a Barney when you're doing something really stupid or idiotic.
Yeah,
Dancing around like a giant purple
obviously
dinosaur.
haven't met our bass player.
But you know, I know what that's like though because my last name
I
is
missed
Johnson, and we all know where that goes.
he's
So
a
anyway,
Johnson.
we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into you guys right now. The Taz Taylor Band. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us
Thank
here
you.
on
Thanks for having us.
the futon. It's kind of futon-ish. I know it's more couchy, but it's futon of the mind, like we always
It's
tell
a
people.
state of mind, yeah.
Close. I'm
great.
keeping the change, I
Yes.
find.
So it looks like you guys.
Keep it all.
Looks like you guys are coming up on your 10-year anniversary here, unless we already hit it. Are we there yet?
We hit it already. I think officially, yeah, we way past it. It's-
Congratulations.
Yeah, 2004 was the...
2004.
Inception?
Well, the
Yeah.
internet is way wrong. I thought that everything on the internet was true. Well,
No.
I'm gonna
Fake
have
news. Fake news.
Right. Jesus Christ. So in the beginning, it was you and Val. You were there from the beginning too, weren't you?
Not exactly. I came on board around 2006.
June of 2006.
Yeah, almost.
Right about when the internet did say you guys existed.
Yeah.
Right about that time. Excellent. And of course, we've got Barney Firks, and then Chandler. We got Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, Chandler's not really in the band per se. We did a record last year, came out on Escape in Europe.
Chandler's
and-
listening. He's like, "Hey!"
Yeah, and on Rubicon in Japan, and we wanted to do an album with vocals for a change. We'd done a couple before with vocals because we are primarily an instrumental band.
Which I love, by the
Yeah,
way.
thank
Bless you.
And we got together with Chandler, wrote and recorded an album. Like I said, it came out last June. And it's been nice to see the success that it's had in those other markets and radio airplay and all that kind of thing. But we haven't been performing live with Chandler. We were hoping to put a tour together, but that hasn't happened. So I guess we see that as more of a guest appearance or a collaboration or...
So it's like Taz Taylor feat Chandler Mogel.
I guess you could say that.
We'll just put that in the music video, It's all right. It's way better than him than Kanye. So here we got a description that I pulled off the web. Again, I get a lot of my information from the internet. Probably not the best idea in retrospect, but you guys are knuckle-bearing hard rock. It's a pretty bold
I've
statement.
read that myself. Yeah.
But after listening to it myself, I completely agree. It's the kind of music that I would put on in my car and then all of a sudden look down at my speedometer and I'm like,
Right,
holy
you're going-
shit, I'm felony speeding,
110.
I
Wow,
need to
didn't see
slow
that
down.
coming.
Yeah. It's like, why am I getting all those middle fingers in my rearview mirror, I'm using
What
my
are those
indicators,
lights? Those flashing lights. What the hell?
But, it's just straight in your face, instrumental. We're going to get to that in a second, actually give you guys listening at home a taste of that. But first, let's talk a little bit about kind of where you come. How did you get started with the guitar?
I think I was 13, and I had the usual influences that someone of my genre and age would have, I guess, like the 80s guitar players, like Michael Schenker, Gary Moore, Van Halen, all those guys, and that's kind of the music that I grew up on. And I mean, to talk about like how the band gets started, I moved from England to San Diego in January of '97, and I didn't know anyone in the music community.
What brought that about? I mean, that's a pretty big move.
It's pretty ambitious.
Especially not knowing anyone,
with-
right?
yeah. With a guitar backpack and like $2,000.
That's fucking awesome. You're
Wow.
a baller. My kind of
You're
dude.
going, where did you get $2,000? Does that exist?
Weren't they pounds?
Well, I did
Well, hey.
I did the conversion for you to make it easy.
Oh, thank you.
So that was like £5 or something, yeah.
I was just I guess I just looked at Southern California as like the epicenter of the world. Whether that was naive or not, I don't know.
Really, it was
I
the
mean-
anus, wasn't it? When you got to Los Angeles, it was
Well,
like,
it was funny because the heyday of like the strip, the 80s rock scene, I mean, was kind of dead and rotten by then anyway. This was 97, so that was kind of all over. But it still just had that allure for me. And, and I was just tired of living in the UK, really. Just that kind of like depressed kind of economy.
It's the weather.
And the horrible weather. That kind of thing. But like I said, I was in San Diego and I didn't know anyone in the music community at all. And I was kind of on this quest to be like the best guitar player that I could be. Not to be like the best, the best guy in town, better than this guy, better than that guy. It was just something that I'd started taking really seriously.
Well, you're certainly on a great path. I mean, look at you. You're on the futon now. You never thought you were going to end up here.
The Holy Grail.
We've peaked.
But so like I said, I didn't know anyone, and it seemed kind of overwhelming to me to try to form a band in San Diego or to try to join a band in San Diego. So I just started writing and recording my own record. I figured it'll be so much easier to put something together if I already have a finished product. Mm-hmm. So I ended up recording a CD called Caffeine Racer that I put out in July of 2004. And I played all of the instruments on it myself except for the drums. And the owner of the studio, Richard Blitz, he recommended Calvin Lakin, who I know you all know.
We do.
So Calvin played on the record. And it was really surprising because it sold really well. There was a website around at that time called Guitar 9 Records that specialized in instrumental guitar CDs. And it was selling 2, 3, 4 copies a day for the first 3 or 4 months.
It's
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, and it was
That's
really
great.
surprising.
It's good to know there's some instrumentalists still out there.
Yeah, well,
enthusiasts.
no, this was back in 2004. And so I put the band together and we started playing shows like Dream Street, Brick by Brick, Canes, the Jumping Turtle, all those places.
Half those places aren't even
Gone.
around anymore.
No.
It's sad.
Brick's still there.
Brick
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, Brick is still there. It's now Brick X Brick. It's a little bit
But
different now.
before I throw the story over to Val here, so what happened was we were doing these shows, and as a band, me and my bandmates at that time, we decided the next logical step would be to make a record with vocals and to build on what we have going here. So, being the kind of insane person that I am, I sent an email to Graham Bonnet through his website.
Nice.
And
This is the Graham Bonnet of Rainbow. Michael Schenk.
So
Big Graham.
here's me, playing like with almost my first serious band in my life ever.
Yeah.
Sending an email to this guy that played with Richie Blackmore. He played with Michael Schenker.
See.
No pressure.
He played with Yngwie Malmsteen.
Awesome.
He played with Steve Vai.
Balls to the walls. Go
You just
go
set
big or go
yourself
home.
up.
So
man, no.
it only took him about a day, I think, and he emailed me back and said that he checked out the stuff online, and he says, sounds good, and he says, it seems like we speak the same language. Here's my phone number. So I
Get out of
So
town.
call me maybe.
yeah, so I called him and.
You had a chat?
We talked for about 45 minutes. We got along really, really well, and started, recording songs in San Diego with the band and shooting up the rough mixes to him, and he would come up with his vocal parts and record them in his home studio and shoot them back. And creatively, it went really, really easily. It was a very good match. And he actually said to me when we were on tour the following year, he said that writing the album had been really easy for him. He says he found my compositions very easy to write to. So I just says, well, it's got a lot to do with the fact that I learned to play guitar by listening to records that you sang on.
Kind of worked out, right?
Flavor, yeah.
So anyway, the record Welcome to America was pretty much finished and in the can, and it was due for release on August of 2006, and it was June of 2006, and we found ourselves needing a drummer. So I'm
Hello,
going to
Val.
throw the story over to Val, and he
Intro.
can tell us of his impressions and...
Yeah,
Feels
what
like you
did
guys
you- what
already
did-
know
Well,
the
I
rest of
came
the
on
story.
What'd you think of this guy?
Yeah, they said for $500 you can have the gig. So I called my mom.
They wanted you to pay them.
Yeah, right.
That's how the
Millennials.
music business works. You didn't know that?
Yeah, right.
That was pretty low key.
Pay to play.
$500, that's a steal. Jeez.
Right? If I'd had only known. The No, actually, it was pretty low key. I just showed up with some songs that Taz had sent me, and I worked on them. And it was pretty much about 30 minutes in the rehearsal studio, and they're like looking at each other, and they're like, "Oh yeah, oh." Good.
What were you
That
thinking?
You're the guy. Let's go.
Because I imagine
I was like,
wow.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
well,
so you were probably nervous going into this, thinking,
No, he wasn't nervous.
Oh, okay. Well,
I didn't know anything about it.
I thought we were just a bunch of schmucks. He wasn't nervous.
Yeah.
I'm doing this as a favor.
Whatever. Where's my 5?
That was pretty cash, but it was a lot of fun. It took off pretty quick, and we did a lot of cool things right away. A lot of things that we were working towards. The release of the album with Graham and subsequent tours. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. Do we have anything from Welcome to America? What do we bring with us today as far as stuff?
No, I sent you more recent stuff.
Okay. No, that's totally fine.
I guess I didn't
straight up.
If we don't, that's great. I just want to
Who
figure
knew,
since we were
right?
talking about it, it would be really cool to throw one in there.
I think you should play Coliseum just
Yeah,
to
that's a
get the
good one.
blood pumping.
This is Coliseum. And what album
Taz
was this
Taylor
album?
Band.
It's off Deja Voodoo.
There we go. Deja Voodoo by the Taz Taylor Band and son of a bitch.
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Hell yeah. Bang your head.
If I had hair left. Who's on the keys back there?
That is Josh Weinstein.
Josh Weinstein. Did he accidentally just kind of lean on it while you're recording it? Oh, sorry. You know what? Let's keep that.
That's going to work
Sounded
out.
good. Luckily, I hit D minor, which was great. No, that's no accident.
No. Yeah, that's the cat.
Bass. Who's playing bass?
That is Barney Elphurst II.
Barney.
Yeah, he's a monster.
The Barnster.
I love how driving it is.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we were just saying the same thing. We've been playing this song. This came out in 2004.
14.
No, this came out in 2004. No, 2014.
14.
You're right. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I was only off by a decade.
There was a 2 and a 4.
I know, yeah, right?
Yes.
But we were just saying that we still play this song in our set almost every time, and so those parts have evolved a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone's putting a lot
absolutely.
more different stuff in there now. It's still the same song, but it's 2.0 now.
I like it.
Yeah, right.
I like it then. I'll like it now.
Yeah, Coliseum by Taz Taylor.
That was awesome.
Yes,
Taz Taylor Band.
the Taz Taylor Band. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know. I'm
We got Val, we got Barney, and we got Taz.
I know I need to include everybody. I'm terrible person. But thank you for that. That is the kind of music that inspires me to never pick up the guitar again. I hate you.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
I'm never going to achieve that stature,
Yeah, we opened for John Five recently. It was the fourth time we'd opened for him, and I was back at Brick by Brick for another show a couple of weeks later, and I was just chatting to the sound guy that did the sound that night, and
Was it Frank?
Luke. And I mentioned to him about that show, and he was like, "Yeah," he says, "Why do I even play guitar?"
You're right.
Done.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why do I even do it? Why do I even
I'm
bother?"
not even going to sell it. I'm just going to give it away. It's going to become a coaster.
It's in the front of my house with the free sign on it right now.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
take it.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that like Joe Satriani's like taking notes to. You're like,
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
what you're doing there, but I got to figure something out. Stay on top.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's
They're
awesome.
really amazing to see live. I saw you many times, but I think the first time I saw you, it was Ramona Main stage.
Okay.
And I can't recall if you played with Ronnie Lee or
I don't think we've ever done a show with Ronnie Lee.
that's what I'm trying to think. Pat Travers?
Yeah, we played with Pat at Ramona. Yeah.
That might have been it.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Or
probably many times.
Me, right?
I
We
know.
know
I was
how
in
good I am.
2004, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Or
certain.
14, I don't know.
Or 10 years later.
Hey, you know what? Everything, half of what I say is at least 50% right. You know that.
There you
right?
go.
That's good odds, That's like marriage these days, I'm such an optimist. Anyway, every episode, I usually ask the band kind of where their name comes from. Obviously, we know where the name comes from. You are Taz Taylor. But what about Taz? I mean, I don't think on your birth certificate it says Taz on there, unless I'm wrong, which I am 50% of the
I
time.
could show you my driver's license.
Really? So
Yes.
it says Taz Taylor. That's your name.
It's Taz is my middle name. I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
Is.
Taz
I was like,
is
it's not
your
short for like
middle name?
Tazington
Yeah,
or something,
No, what?
There almost
Tassington.
came out.
Yeah, out his
You
nose.
were kind of right. Your inference about the birth certificate is accurate. Okay. But it was just a nickname I was given in high school, and just everyone always called me that. And back in the UK,
how did that come about?
Yeah, you
the
know, I
nickname?
don't know.
It's kind of like that,
No idea.
like mush mouth kind of thing. He didn't learn how to talk until he was 8. It just kind of came out like a blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Exactly. Yeah.
But I
circles?
Around in circles.
But it was always my name as a performer. So
works.
true story. When I became a U.S. citizen in 2006, and I didn't have a middle name. My parents just gave me a first and last. And on the form that you fill in to become a U.S. citizen, the first question is, "What is your name?" The second question is, what would you like your name to be? I'm not joking. That's
Shut the front door.
the second question. Because it's historically a lot of people that would
Change.
emigrate to the
Oh, they
United
would
States.
change their names.
They would Americanize their names.
So they still do that,
My
though.
Yeah.
ancestors did.
So I was like, for the sake of just writing it in there, I can just put my middle name in there, not change anything else, and that's now my name. So that is legally my name. So it's on my driver's license, my passport, and everything else.
I don't think I'm going to hear anything cooler today.
that's
for
my
the rest of
middle
my life.
name.
That's really neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now then I have to ask
what was your
Val, what would you
birth-
change your name to if you just moved to America?
The Machine. Val the Machine Trainer.
Machine. Yeah. Don't make fun of my name, man.
My dad can beat up your dad.
No, I like my name as it is, but it was, growing up.
Trainer is a pretty badass last name. It commands a little respect. It's not like Johnson, where it just sounds like a dick. That's me.
Kinda
I'm
is.
stuck with that for the rest of eternity.
We all
Wait,
have
your
our
last name
crosses
go
to
with
bear.
the Machine. Your
Not to
last
mention,
name is
my middle name
Trainer?
is James, which is short for Jimmy, which I got 2 dicks for my middle and last name. So,
Jimmy.
yeah.
Your last name is Trainer?
Right.
Okay, like Megan Trainer? Okay, just
no.
Like
Okay,
Val
We were
Trainer.
trying not to go there.
Boom, boom. Isn't
Big
it?
Did you
Shut
notice?
it up.
Hey, Tyler, did you notice the shirt
So is
that
Val-
Mr. Trainer's wearing?
Yes, I did. It looks like a Harley Davidson,
It's
But it's
rad.
not.
but it's not.
It's Taz Taylor.
Yeah,
Are
my
you-
wardrobe consists mostly, when you've been in a band this long, my wardrobe is mostly
Free t-shirts
band
and-
T-shirts.
Right. Guitar Center, Taz is supported.
It's kind of it's funny
I was
because
trying to bring up an opportunity for merch to be talked about and advertised. So
I wanted to hear about
I'm going
Val's
to be a little
first
bit more
name.
direct.
A little more direct.
we brought CD. We didn't bring shirts, but we did bring a couple of copies of
No,
Deja Voodoo.
I mean,
Thank
for you
you.
guys to talk about where you sell your stuff.
You know what? The funny thing is, when it comes to T-shirts, we've kind of historically only sold them at gigs.
Yeah.
Our CDs are
It's
available
exclusive.
everywhere.
You generate demand,
but
that
you
way.
have to come to a show to get a T-shirt.
There
I like
you
that.
go.
Even
I
when
like that
people
a lot.
ask us on Facebook, they'll say, "Hey, that's a really cool shirt. Where can I get one?" I go, "At a show."
And you know what? That's
There you
you're
go.
inspiring
That's
people
smart.
to get out and actually do things,
Exactly.
be active,
Yeah.
actually talk to somebody when
And
you're
then you can
purchasing
wear it
stuff.
like
Yes.
it's like a badge of pride. It proves that you were at a show.
We also
I
have
don't
some
have one,
limited
but I've been to
edition
many shirts.
vintage pre-worn ketchup stains. Maybe with some
I like how we
logos
threw
in 'em,
vintage
yeah.
in
They're
there.
repurposed, okay?
It's just old. Yeah.
With ketchup stains from fries after a show.
Well, you know, you got to hit the
Burgers.
Del Taco, grab some
Ketchup
fries. You
and
got
Frosties.
instant ketchup situation, so you're good.
Okay, so we went from instrumental metal to ketchup,
Ketchup.
stains on the shirt. This is a class show, obviously.
What did Mama Tomato say to Baby Tomato?
Ketchup. I was thinking.
At least it wasn't a
I was
strip.
thinking,
Pulp
and you
Fiction.
said it. Yes.
You like half-assed that joke. That wasn't
I
even.
wasn't even
Fucking
but
A.
hey,
I got the
it
point
was
across.
a long joke.
But
so
if you've seen Pulp Fiction, that was
Yeah.
then you laugh anyway.
yes.
Yeah, the kid had to catch
What was the name of the pilot that they did? What was the TV show that she's talking about?
Fox
Oh,
Force
shit.
5.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fox Force 5.
On it with Tyler. Tyler and his
This
Pulp
guy is
Fiction
pop
knowledge.
culture.
I think
like,
we get the
holy
Big
crap.
brain on Brad. Smart motherfucker. That's right.
Because the metric system.
Say what one more time, motherfucker. Say what one more motherfucking time.
It's a Royale with cheese.
Still trying to figure out if they do in fact speak English and what. I don't know.
Okay, I think we need another question from Tyler to get us back on
You
track.
think so?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I brought questions.
Spicy getting fired?
I brought some
What?
questions, but they're not the kind that you really
Well, let
would
me ask.
expect.
I'm going to ask.
Kidding.
Jesus Christ. How long
Do we
has
have
it been
another- do we have
since the
another
last
song?
musical break? We need
I
to do
wanna hear
another
a
one.
song. I want to hear another
last
song
one
for
was
sure.
fun.
Can we have a song with vocals?
Yeah. I was going to suggest Highway Song. We don't do many covers. We are absolutely not a cover band, but we have recorded, I think, 3. We kind of, went out of our way to twist them and make them into our own.
Nice.
So a little bit of background on this. It's Highway Song that was originally by Blackfoot, which I guess would have been, was that like late 70s?
Yeah.
It wasn't
78,
2004?
79. It wasn't 2004, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 78, 79, I think it was on their Strikes album, right?
Oh, actually, Strikes was even before then.
Yeah, so in other words, we don't know.
And you guys own the rights to it, right?
This was on Pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because this
Pressure
was
Time?
released on a label, so yeah, it's published and everything's good. And so what I did was I broke down the complete band arrangement to just one acoustic guitar, and then Chandler, sings, and then at the end, on the Blackfoot version, there was like a huge, big instrumental jam on the end.
The big
so I was like, well,
payoff.
huh?
The big payoff.
Yeah, so I figured, well, we obviously have to do that, but instead of sticking to the original structure, I was like, well, we did the whole front end of the song sticking to the original structure, but just on acoustic guitar. So for the end, we just threw a blues jam on there of our own. So
Blues makes everything better.
yeah. So this is Highway Song, originally by Blackfoot, but completely reconstructed by Taz Taylor Band.
Another day, another dollar. After I sang and hollered, oh, it's my way of living. I can't change a thing. Another town is drawing near. Oh, baby, I wish you were here. The only way I can see you is in my dreams. It's a highway song. You sing it on and on and on. Yeah, the hurt you leave behind is the hurt that's on your mind. as I lay my body in my bed. Whoa, and dreams of you dance through my head. It's a highway song. You sing it on and on and on.
Is that you guys doing backups, or is this all Chandler?
That's all the vocals is Chandler.
All Chandler, okay. Well done, Chandler.
It's as long as the road I'm on. These big wheels are ready to roll. We've been flying high, I'm so low. Lord, and all this madness ain't as crazy as it seems.
Taz, your feel is amazing.
Thank you.
It's just so beautiful. It really comes through your passion for your instrument.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Stand alone, only in my dreams. It's a highway song. You sing it on and on. Highway song. It's as long as the road I'm on. It's a highway song. You sing it on and on, yeah. Highway song. It's as long as the road I'm on.
The road you're on is exactly 5 minutes and 9 seconds.
Whatever that means.
Which is all right. Just a fun fact, yeah.
Well, I realized
The
that.
highway song is as long as the road I'm on, and it was 5 minutes and 9 seconds, so that was kind of a short road. No, I'm just kidding. Ooh, second part 2.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the part that has nothing to do with the original.
I like it.
Oh, that's fucking great.
I just got punched by a song.
Wait for it.
I have no words. There's nothing I can say.
Well, this is the same song.
Oh, hey. Ooh, bring that mic down a little bit. Hold on.
No, hold on.
Holding on. As my engineer is just...
It's so beautiful.
I love that chord change right there.
Can you?
There it is. I gotta get a photo. I gotta get a photo of this.
Highway song.
So beautiful.
So we're done talking. We're just
that
going to
was
let Taz
beautiful.
go to town and wank for a little bit.
I hijacked your whole thing.
That was lovely.
Well, thank you.
Gorgeous,
Thank
gorgeous.
you.
Made my day right there.
Did it?
Yeah, really did.
Did?
It really did. Didn't yours?
Yes.
She's like, duh, shut up.
Hello. We already talked about the wet spot in the cigarette. What else do you need?
That was awesome. So that was off of Pressure in Time. Am I correct?
Yes, Highway Song, yes.
Highway Song, yes. And now you guys mentioned before that you guys don't usually do covers. However, you did record a couple, and I happened upon one of them by accident when I was studying you guys. Apparently, you did Purple Rain by Prince.
Did.
Get out of town, Jackson Brown, really?
Yes. I feel
I bet
like
it was
maybe we
amazing.
should, like,
I
kind of play the episode out with that one just to kind of give them a little bit of a taste. But really, I mean, people listening in, you should go check them out online. They're going to be, let's see, you guys have your own website at taztaylor.com.
Yes,
that's correct.
that is it.
You guys are also on all the social media platforms, I'm
Yes.
sure, like Twitter,
Twitter.
Yeah, we've got all the Twitters.
Facebook and Feeder, those ones.
The chap snat.
You're such a mom.
God, really. So true.
That was awesome. Where was I? I'm looking at my notes. Like,
I should say that the story behind Purple Rain, though, because I mean, we almost didn't do it because of Prince passing away. We'd been jamming that in the rehearsal room for not that long, but about 3 months.
And it was leading up
prior to
to
him passing.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, man, I really want to record this song. It's such a guitar player song.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember seeing like Richie Sambora playing it, and a bunch of kind of like blues rock guitar players would pull that song out. And I was like, I'd love to do this. This is, and plus, if you're going to do a cover, for a band like us, we don't do covers of, say, UFO or MSG or Van Halen because we're not a covers band, and those are the bands that we aspire to sound like.
Yeah.
So covering them is completely pointless. But covering an artist like Prince, who is primarily a pop, funk, soul, R&B artist, makes sense for us to do that.
Yeah, put your own
We're
little
not going
spin
to
on
do
it.
Lights Out by UFO,
Yeah, you're
Right,
not trying
right.
to emulate the same
so
song.
it had all of the right reasons for doing it, and we were pretty much ready to record it. And then Prince passed away, and we were like, well, everybody and his brother's going to do this now.
And they did.
Oh,
And they did. And,
Yeah.
and everyone's going to think that we're doing it for the same reason. But I was like, I want to do it anyway. What
We
the heck?
got to be safe. Is
What the
just
heck?
pick the bands that, like, they're basically got one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. Cover one of their songs, and as soon as they kick the bucket, you just pull the trigger. Come on, pick out that Toto song we were gonna do.
Toto?
I don't know. I just threw.
Did you just condemn Toto to death?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Right. He's still alive,
Now, you own the rights to that one too, right, Purple Rain?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, when I say own the rights, I mean it's
Like
it's
you have
on-
the right to reproduce it.
Yes,
Okay.
it's on our record that's out on 2 labels, so I'm pretty sure they
Legit.
paid for the publishing
This is on
rights
Escape
to do that.
Records in Europe and Rubicon in Japan, right?
Rubicon in Japan and Escape in Europe. Yeah.
Wow, 2 record labels. What's that like?
Compared to what?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
To one? I don't know. Lots of
It
red
means
tape.
you get two tiny insignificant royalty payments instead of one, right?
Right,
right.
How many yen did we get out of that?
Well, I did like what you guys did here back in 2009 and 2012. You did stretch that dollar a little bit with the album Straight Up, because from what I understand, it came out first in 2009, and you weren't really happy with the mix.
It wasn't a huge deal. What it was we put that out in 2009. I mean, going back to the story from earlier, I mean, we did 2 really pretty successful tours in 2007 and 2008. One, we did 16 shows in the UK. This is when Graham Bonnet was in the band. And then in 2008, we played all over Germany. We played in, Vienna, Budapest, Prague. And things seem to be going in the right direction for a while
Yeah,
there.
I'll say.
No kidding.
And so the relationship with Graham Bonnet had kind of broken down. I mean, that's a story for a whole other day. And so we enlisted the help of another vocalist who had also been in the Michael Schenker group by the name of Keith Slack. And we recorded the Straight Up album. And it was also released on Escape. And we should mention, just because it's cool to name drop, we actually got Don Airy, who I'm sure you know is now the keyboard player in Deep Purple, has been for probably about 15 years now.
Quite a while, yeah.
You know, the guy
he
that
came to a couple shows. On
he
UK
came to
tour
a
as
couple
well.
of shows of ours in the UK, and was just like the nicest guy in the world. Was buying us beers and just chatting about all things. I mean, he's the guy that created the Mr. Crowley intro, you know, and played on all of those records. I mean, he's played for everyone.
He's obviously pretty confident if he's going to go play keyboards for Deep Purple.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever listened to Highway Star, that's a freaking marathon.
Yeah, well, I mean, John Lord, when it comes to, you know, playing the B3 like that, I mean, there's no one else in the world like that. And as Ian Gillan himself tells the story, he said that after, you know, John Lord retired from the band, they called up Don Airey and they said, well, you know, we need a replacement for John. He says, we have a list with 3 names on it, and they're all yours. and Steve Morse, you know, he said, you know, multiple times, he says that when John quit, he says I just couldn't imagine. He says I felt like it was over. He says, how could we possibly do Deep Purple without John Lord? He says, and then Don Airey came in, you know, like a train. You know, he says, and he was like, "What do they put?" And he was like, "What do they put in the water over there?" But anyway, you know, cutting a long story short, we asked him if he would play piano and strings on the title track of our Straight Up album.
Strings?
Yeah, you know, strings. You know,
oh, okay,
piano strings.
Synthesized strings.
And
picture of the viola or something. You know?
And he says, "Yeah, absolutely." And it was kind of cool because Deep Purple were on tour. They were actually like in Russia or somewhere crazy at the time, and so after he said he would do it, I mailed him. This is still before I was like confident in using the internet for things, so I actually sent him a mix of the song in the post, actual like where the mailman comes and, you know, puts it in.
Back in the old.
And so I timed it thinking, oh, you know, he's in Russia, so I'll wait a little while. Now I timed it so it would get there a day or two before he got home, and it was kind of cool because he got home from tour like on a Monday, and he took one day off, recorded his parts on Wednesday, and sent it back to us. And he's like,
"Oh, perfect."
That's brilliant. That's the kind of stuff that only people before the year 2000 would understand and know how to time and things like that.
But I mean, to think that you have like, you know, probably the most respected B3 player in the world. I mean, you got like John Lord, Keith Emerson, and Don Airey, and not only did he agree to do it, but he did it like he took one day off after getting back from the road with Deep Purple and did it.
Well, let's get right into this one.
That says a lot about you, Taz.
We need to listen to this one. This is going to be straight up.
So when you hear this piano, this is Don Airey.
All right, this is off their title track, released in 2009 and then re-released. Completely different.
A little bit different.
A little bit different. I think you guys switched the tracks up a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
what it was, getting back to the story I was telling, we didn't tour it that year. Like I said, we thought we were like really on a good trajectory for a while, but we didn't tour it that year, and we went back to doing our instrumental stuff. So 2012 rolled around, and we decided, yeah, you know what? We since that thing had never been released here in the US, it had only been released in Europe, we decided to release it on our own label. And as musicians, you know how it is when you look back at something from 4 years earlier, you just can't leave it alone. So we just we tweaked the mix a little bit, then changed the running order of the songs. There was
brand new artwork.
Brand new artwork. Yeah,
might as well. I mean, we've got a great artist that does.
We should mention that. Go for it.
Yeah, Tristan Great Tricks.
Yeah.
Does he do all the art for all the albums that you guys do?
He has since Straight Up, since we reissued Straight Up.
I like the one for Big Dumb Rock. The one there's a picture of the stone.
That was Val.
That was actually
you.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
I was the design artist on that.
That was brilliant. The Stonehenge and everything that did the TTB. Yes, that was awesome.
And because of that, we actually, in our thank yous, we actually thanked Spinal Tap in the thank yous.
That's amazing. That's
Stonehenge, where the demons dwell. I could go on and do this. I'm not going to.
I know. I could do this recite the whole movie.
Will we be playing Stonehenge tonight?
No. Dated.
It says right here on the napkin, 13 inches.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go back to Tristan.
All right. We're name dropping. We're name dropping here. What are we doing? We're plugging some people.
Tristan actually created the original MSG logo for the Michael Schenker Group.
Oh,
he is the man credited for that. And he's done a lot of UFO covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot of album covers nowadays.
Yeah.
How did you guys stumble into him?
I don't know. To be honest, he's just one of those guys that reached out to us and said he was a big fan and wanted to do some stuff for us. He doesn't even charge us. Isn't that weird?
my gosh.
It's not. When you're a fan, I mean, you do things.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, you're
I
appreciative.
forgot
for
to tell
being
you
a
about
part
the
of the
bill
project.
that we got.
There's an invoice on
It's a
your
little
desk.
past
With
due.
interest. You know?
Yeah, but Lindsay, it's funny though because I mean I get what you're saying. When you're a fan, you do things for people like that.
Uh-huh.
But this is a guy that like does album covers for huge bands.
I know,
and he
but-
reaches out to us and does it for free.
So that says a lot. That says a
Yeah,
lot about
exactly.
you. Again, goes back to you.
Actually, the album cover for Deja Voodoo is like my favorite. You can look at that thing. That is a real.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to get a huge poster of that at some point.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we should make
it's-
that happen.
Yeah, somehow
You can do
I
it.
don't know
I have
how.
a feeling.
How's
I have
that
a
gonna
feeling you
happen?
could do it. I'm just saying. You can do it.
We have the technology.
Let's hear this song.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We were playing music, weren't we?
This is straight
Squirrel.
up from the Straight Up album.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
This is totally one of those lighter songs, except that nobody brings lighters to concerts
Now
anymore.
it's phones.
It's cell phones now, yeah. I'm not even talking. I just want to listen. And you guys are all, thank you. Finally, he stopped.
I wasn't gonna say it out loud.
We were
You
all
know you were thinking it. Sat on her face. She was just like, oh, relief. You know, like the laxative just kicked in.
Wait a
Finally.
minute.
We went there. No, that was really good. That was
Thank
really
you.
good. I
That
love the
was
piano work on that. So
incredible.
kudos.
I love the piano work also, and the guitar, all of it.
I love the vocals.
Thank you so much.
Because there weren't any.
Everybody knows all the words to that song.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Come on, everybody, sing along. You know.
It's a sing along.
You should do that at a show one day. Oh, good Lord. So that was straight up a great song. And I mean that in any way you really want to take it, I guess.
That's what she said.
Straight up.
That's my line.
Actually, in contrast to that song, the album is actually probably one of our heaviest albums.
I would agree.
It's-
In fact, that's that was the reason behind the title Straight
Right.
Up, because it was very kind of stripped down and raw. It was very kind of like Power Trio-ish.
Yeah.
It's definitely
And-
powerful. As soon as that first, kick came in, it was just like I wasn't expecting it, so it kind of took me off my guard a little bit. But definitely, I mean, just a wall of sound coming out of you guys, and I can only imagine how that's going to be live when it translates in front of an audience.
It's ferocious.
Ferocious. It's a great term. That's a word I need to use more.
That's amazing.
Fantastic F word.
Amazing gets overused. I think amazing is dead. We need to throw that one out.
We'll go with the
Amazing
F
is
word.
almost like a pity word, like, oh, that's amazing. You know, golf clap.
I say that word all the time.
Ferocious.
Me
is-
too. I
Not
hate it. Shut up.
ferocious. Hey, Taz, I'm stealing it.
Same.
I'm taking the word.
I'm digging
ferocious.
that.
You can take that word.
It's incendiary.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Val, that's a great word.
I'm incendiary too.
I'm incendiary too, man.
Irregardless.
I love irregardless.
That's my favorite word, and it's actually a word that says it's not really a
not
word.
really a word.
The definition is this is not really a word, but you know,
kind of
it's
is.
kind of like means regardless, but it's more like you know,
Irregardless.
it's whatever.
Irregardless.
If you can say it, it's a word.
Alexa,
I
subscribe to Dusty Futon on Spotify.
exactly.
And where can we find Taz Taylor Band?
Oh, that was we had mentioned that earlier a little bit.
We did. Let's
Let's
mention
mention
it.
it again.
Yes, they're at TazTaylor.com.
That's it.
That's
Right
it.
on. That's it.
And also the
Go
other social
there.
media platforms as well. I know you're on the Dusty Futon. That's probably how you found this episode. So while you're on the internet, go ahead and check out Taz Taylor.
Like
Yeah,
them.
beware though. There's actually a beat producer who
What?
prolifically puts out about 40 videos a day. Also,
Imposter. He's an imposter.
Yeah, it's-
He's
it's-
not the real.
it's,
He's Taz Taylor?
Yeah, he's actually in Florida. It's like a hip hop producer.
I know people in Florida. You want me
using
to-
the-
oh, well, that's it. They steal everything.
Shank him.
Send the
Okay.
boys around.
I'm about to turn your mic off.
But the
Lindsay.
thing is, it is kind of annoying because I mean we had a pretty significant internet presence way before this guy popped up. And I don't know. I just think it's annoying if you're going to go into the entertainment industry. I think you should Google the name that you're going to use to see if someone's already prominently using it.
Yep.
You know.
Correct.
And I've mentioned this to people before, and they say, "Well, perhaps it's his real name." And it's like, "Well, I don't care." You wouldn't go into the movie industry and say, "Well,
You can.
but Clint Eastwood's my real name."
But if I got in a computer, you know, I wouldn't be.
John Gates.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I go by Big
Blasphemy.
John.
So what do we got in the works now for Taz Taylor? What's in the future?
We are actually in the very early stages, I would say, of pre-production on some new material.
Ooh,
I
for album
think-
number 7.
Yeah, I think that we would like to be. I personally would like to put out a record around next spring. I think that's very doable. It sounds like a long
sure.
time away, but it's really not when you've
Flies
still got to
by.
write it and record it.
It's still
yet.
this spring, so we,
Yeah.
a little ways to
So
go.
It always takes
A
about
year's-
from the idea of
Alright.
doing it. It always takes roughly a year.
And support Taz Taylor by checking them out at TazTaylor.com. They got merch up there. They've got tour dates coming up, albums, discography, info. I'm sure you got more than enough already from listening. But we're going to go ahead and end this episode right here. So thank you guys so much for coming out here to
Thank
the
you.
Futon.
yeah, thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for
Sounds-
rocking the tunes. It's not too often you get instrumentalists coming on, and I'm a huge fan of instrumentals, so you've just placated my needs so well. Thank you very much.
Fan geek.
And as we all know, it's all about me. So,
So I'm Spicy Kim. Thank you.
yes, that's right.
Manfredi.
Spicy Kim's been with us. Big John's our engineer over here taking care of all the tech work, and then we've got Lindsay chiming in telling how much she hates me. No.
Oh, you know, it's a love-hate
Someone's got to keep me.
relationship.
Someone's got to keep me at a level. Keep me humble.
Big thank you again to Taz Taylor and Val Trainer, two awesome names and awesome guys for coming out to the Futon. Thank you to Tyler for hosting this episode. And thank you to Spicy Kim of Wicked Tone Entertainment for being the executive producer and co-host for this episode. Thank you to Lindsay Manfredi of the band Cold for chiming in and co-hosting with us. I'm Big John, your engineer and producer. Don't forget, we now have merchandise to sell, t-shirts and the whatnot. Go ahead and head over to dustyfuton.com/merch to get your t-shirts now. If you want to hear what's coming out, what's going on for the next week or two and down in the scene of San Diego, don't forget to check out our concert reports released Wednesday on the same channel. So all you got to do is subscribe, whether it's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any of those places. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. We also have a Patreon page if you want to get some behind-the-scenes information and some special goodies that are going to be coming in the future. You can go to check that out at patreon.com/thedustyfuton, where you can directly support the Dusty Futon. Also, don't forget to check us out at dustyfuton.com, where you can get access to every episode ever created by the Dusty Futon from Season 1 debut back in April 2015 to now. I hope you enjoyed this production of the Dusty Futon LLC. And this episode was sponsored by Backstage 360. Don't forget to go to backstage360.com to check them out. They are the musician's media. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode right here on the Dusty Futon.